Well, hello. We meet again. Welcome back to the Bobby Dizzle podcast, everybody. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please share this video. Go to bobbydizzle.com for all ways to follow, listen, watch on social media, and all my old episodes are there. So that's a plus. Today's episode is East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization founder, Daniel Benoit. We did this episode a few weeks ago, and I was waiting for the perfect time to air it, but since his podcast was canceled tonight, no better time but to fill the void and, kind of offer an alternative programming. So, enough about me, enough about this episode. Here is Daniel Benoit. Let's get cracking. Please subscribe, please share. BobbyDizzle.com. Thank you. Welcome today. We got Daniel Benoit, or Benoit. He is the host and founder of East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization. You can find more information on that at ecbrofounder.com. Also, host a weekly podcast Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, not Central, on the Bigfoot Zone Channel on YouTube. All these links are in the description as soon as I post this video. Daniel, how are you? I keep wanting to call you Robert. I don't know why.
Oh, that's totally fine. I've been called worse.
Messenger. So you do the East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization. I'm trying not to say BFRO there because I know it's not.
No, I've actually had people confuse the abbreviation, the ECBRO, with the BFRO, or they think I'm associated, which I'm not. But, although I have friends that are considered team members of them, but I tend not to affiliate or associate with them for my own personal reasons. Nothing bad.
So I've been kind of like Bigfoot adjacent for a very long time. I've been into the subject just kind of like a minor hobby since before early 90s, and I got kind of obsessed with it in 2000s. Before college, I met a guy that said he saw one. It just escalated. But I got kicked out of BFRO around that time because I said they weren't flesh and blood 24/7, and ever since then I've been on this vendetta. So are you flesh and blood, or are you no clipping in the back rooms?
No, I mean, I personally, as of right now, until we can prove otherwise, I do stand on the flesh and blood side of things. Yeah, yeah.
I think they're flesh and blood when they're here, and they're not ghosts or anything.
I mean, some people. I've heard. It's interesting to hear different people's take on that. A lot of people believe they are a type of spirit. And then, if you look at things from a Native point of view, Native Americans, they look at all our known species of animals in a spiritual sense as well. So, a lot of people look at that side, and like, well, the natives are calling it spirit. I said, well, so is the deer and the eagle, and the bear. So,
and the rock,
right,
for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to stand on it either. Like, you want to think about that. Then I've talked to 2 or 3 different people that have seen a portal. One said he saw one come out of a portal, and this guy, how the hashtag I know what I saw, guys. And that's what got me leaning over on that. Like, if they're real and flesh and blood, where are they hiding? It almost makes it easier for me to believe if they aren't 100% flesh and blood. I guess I got this little kid attitude toward the whole thing, which doesn't really matter. It's fun.
Right, yeah. You got to have fun with it regardless. Absolutely. I've had people ask me if I believe in portals and the various woo topics, as the people like to call it or refer to it as. Well, as of right now, because based off of my research and the way I'm studying and researching things, I want to keep an open mind, but I have to stand grounded on where I'm looking at right now until there's something that offers that opportunity or reveals that other possibility, I should say, because it's only because I'm not saying no completely, but I have to say no because right now I haven't experienced it, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, so you're like a legit researcher. Do you have any like a scientific background?
No,
Oh,
I actually
okay.
do not. Although I do a lot of scientific research and studies.
Hmm.
Like when I tell people I do research in and out of the field, a lot of my out of the field research is usually because I'm looking up and studying various topics, and a lot of it's relating to known species of wildlife.
Hmm.
You know, and one of those wildlife is I like to look at are primates, non-human primates. Gorillas, chimpanzees, chimps, so forth.
Hmm.
Because I like to research and study their behaviors, um, their habits, their diets. Things that they have been observed doing. Um, and the reason I like to do that because a lot of what people are reporting with Bigfoot, well, I've learned that non-human primates have been observed doing the very same thing. Yeah, there's some things scientists and primatologists don't understand,
Hmm.
why they do what they do or what their purpose is. But the fun thing about it is they have been observed doing what we relate to Bigfoot with. So um,
Yeah.
anywhere from rock stacking, I mean,
Hmm.
throwing rocks, and banging trees. Yeah, our known primates do these same things, and we hear wood on wood banging out in the woods.
It's
And yeah, it's interesting.
that's the
So
craziest thing because they'll at the same time you hear they're really intelligent and you hear they have this maybe possible teleporting technology that could or couldn't be available to them. At the same time, they love peanut butter and playing with toys
yeah,
and
so I've
lip bopping and
heard.
breaking limbs.
Yeah, as long as they're not my limbs or your limbs, right?
Yeah, love breaking limbs. Everybody say breaks limbs, and they,
Yeah,
they look like monkeys in the face as far as, or I guess more closely related to humans in some instances, but for all intents and purposes, it's a lot closer to the monkeys for the most part.
right. Yeah, shoot. I know I've heard some people say now. Some people have witnessed saying, "Well, it looked almost human, but it wasn't
Hmm.
human." Or I've heard vice versa. It looked almost like a primate, but not primate as well. And it's funny when I hear people say, "Well, they're that." I'm kind of going off topic, but I've heard people say talking about what they might be. I mean, I personally believe they are some kind of unclassified, undiscovered primate of some sort.
Yeah, they're definitely
And
close somehow.
yeah,
However it's possible.
right. And I'm very careful when I say that because I try to tell people like when I say that I'm not saying or making them equal to one of our non-human primates, but I believe they are of their own kind. What
Mhm.
we don't know. Um, and then I've had some people say, "Well, they're not primate; they're human, or they're a type of human." Well, if you're going to look at it and believe it in that way, you have to understand your contradiction yourself. Only because you're not aware of the scientific terminology that
Mhm.
us as humans, we're human primates. And then you have your non-human primates. So either way you look at it, if you're going to go along or
Primate.
down that road, yeah, primate period. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, humans are primates. A lot of people have a hard time with that one.
Yeah, I mean
Being
we're also
being
considered a
religious, they don't have a
mammal,
problem. Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. There's entire
Mhm.
industries dedicated to humans' mammaries. So we're mammals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Entire
Yeah,
clubs dedicated to mammary glands. It's
absolutely.
mammal
I hope
clubs.
you
We'll
get.
start calling them.
Yeah, I hope you don't hear my grandson. His room is next to mine, and even with my headset on, and I got a really good headset,
Mm-hmm.
and I can still hear him. He's still awake and being silly in his room.
Surprised you can't hear mine. Mine getting a fight every time I'm back here.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know. I'm like, really, right here? I'm right here.
yeah. He's 2 years old. He's in his crib. He's just being loud and being silly.
Oh, that's how old my youngest is too.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah. He'll be 3 in June. So
hmm
yeah,
that's the best age. I like two a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. He's a lot of fun. That's for sure. I
Growling
can't
at
wait to
you,
get him
making him
out in
say
the
things,
woods. Oh
making him
yeah,
say things.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. His language right now at his age. I know maybe there's some 2-year-olds that could probably speak a little clearer. I don't know, but you know how you get used to that. They well, they say some things. It may not sound exactly what it is, but you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And,
You get used to it after a while.
right. Yeah, because you're around him, and and yeah, I think about those kind of things, like kind of like people hear or claim to hear Bigfoot talking. I believe it's a lot like I mean, they have their own language, I believe, but I think it makes you wonder if a lot of it's developed from maybe them not being around people or growing up that way. Um, then I heard stories where people said they've actually heard Bigfoot talk and say English words. I mean, that's possible too if they're around enough English speaking, but so
I would give $1 million to see 10 seconds of a Bigfoot saying an English word. I'm just
yeah.
picturing it. It'd have to look like the monkey from Umbrella Academy. He's got Pablo, whatever his name is.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
The English accent, and he's like a butler.
Oh.
In the
Yeah,
season,
I
he's
think.
a biker. So he's got
Wow.
like a tattoo. He's in a prison gang. It's hilarious.
Wow.
I have heard more than one person tell me about Randy Bauer up in Minnesota talking about the Sierra Sounds in his backyard.
Really?
Said he heard him in his backyard. He even mimicked him. And I was like, that is a good impression.
And where is this at now?
It's just above Black Duck, Minnesota.
Okay.
He's the witness. He's got a page on Facebook, and nobody ever reached out to him. But
wow,
that's false. That's false. He's had a book written about it, but nobody ever like invited him on a show like this. Like I'm just like little old me, and I had like 45 followers, and I reached out. He goes, "Yeah, man, he's an older guy, about 60, and he'll talk your head off."
Yeah. Wow,
it's incredible.
Sometimes those people that don't have much of a following are usually the most entertaining with their knowledge, if that makes any sense. They have a lot of information. It's just they probably just choose to more or less keep it to themselves unless asked otherwise.
He's had all kinds of researchers up there, and everybody that comes up there will have an experience. Maybe not a sighting, but they'll have like one of the telltale experience.
Right.
Like you'll hear a knock. He's invited me up there, but I did the math, and that's going to be a week of my life.
Huh. I wonder if my friends, the She Squatchers, ever met him.
He was on their show last week.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, because Jen Cruz, she's out. She's from Minnesota, so
I'd like to have her on. Yeah, I'd like to have her. The author of the book gave me their contact information. Mike Quast.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
If you can get me connected to them, that'd be cool. I'd like to have them on.
Yeah, Jen is she's very cool, laid back, chill. Because Jenna, and then Tammy now. They got Tammy, and Tammy lives here in Virginia. So she moved from out west back out here to Virginia. And the She Squatchers, they've actually been speakers at 2 of my events here in Virginia. So
they're pretty cool. Yeah, they're funny, knowledgeable, not top cocky like some of these guys are.
Right. Yeah, they definitely share some stories. They got some information to put out there.
Yeah, he was on their show about 10 days ago, I believe.
Nice. Yeah, they're a good group of girls. But yeah, I mean, if you need, I'll be more than glad to send a message or connect you on their Facebook and just hey, I'm so and so, So,
that'd be cool. I do a lot of cold calling when I'm getting contacts and stuff because people see I'm not absolutely insane, and I'm not like a fly by night guy. I'm just actually growing like organically, just slowly.
Right.
Enjoying it, to be honest. This stuff is fun.
So like I was telling you earlier, this Friday, Friday's period is when I do my podcast. But see, last Friday I had one of our open roundtable discussions with I had a group of people on the panel, and normally I do an eyewitness, but for the longest time that's all we ever did was roundtable discussions, open discussions, and whatnot. But we were actually supposed to have one Friday, but it's just the thing is the 2 guys I had set up to be part of that. I have yet to tell them I may not doing that, because if I wasn't doing, they get into talking, and it goes a long ways, and
It
it's
really
like
does.
it's hard to cut people off when you yeah. But so that's why I think I might just do a solo thing for about a half hour. Talk about a few
Those Friday
things
night ones
that
can
I've
go
been
for like
working
4 hours.
What's that
They
now?
can go for those Friday night ones can go for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
When they get going.
the most we do. Yeah, they usually run. A couple of mine have been run up to 2 hours. I try not to go too long because it eats up my Wi-Fi. I only get so much gigabytes a month, so
Oh, really?
yeah. Well, for a couple of reasons. Here, it's where I'm at. It's hard to get any good, decent Wi-Fi. I mean, the major networks cost the arm and a leg for one thing. If they were to cover here, the network I'm using is actually who my phone's through. So uh, I got this little this little hotspot right here.
Oh, you got the MiFi?
Yeah, well, it's regular Wi-Fi. It's through the Verizon. So yeah, but yeah, it works pretty good. It does the job.
It's
So
simple. Couldn't tell much. I mean, you cut out and pixelated a little bit for a second there, but you came right back.
okay, yeah, yeah. If I do go out, let me know, because I don't know if I am. Well, this past Friday, I never knew this, but Friday, um, I didn't know this till I went back to watch my podcast. I said, "Why ain't I on there? You can hear me, but you can't see me."
Yeah, I remember
And
that. It's like your avatar.
yeah, and I asked
Like, surely he's
Nikki,
not an audio only guy.
right? No. And I asked Nikki. I said, "Did you guys see me on there?" She said, "No, we never saw your face. You were staying hidden." I said, "No, Nikki." I said, "There was a few times I turned my camera off because I'm usually pushing buttons and going back and forth from chat to whatever." I said, I said I didn't realize it until I went to watch. She said, "It's your band strength. You gotta adjust your band strength." So, and that's actually what I had to do. I had to go into my device and make a few adjustments because I never realized that. That's like, oh, okay, whatever. As long as I could stay connected and work, But
Yeah, I was
yeah, I
raised
mean,
way out in the country in rural Alabama, and now I live in Huntsville, which is the Pentagon of the South, which is about 50 miles from where I grew up. And the internet's fine out there now because of infrastructure grew out, but I don't know
yeah.
that I could ever go, like, not have a house close to this place to not come through with my technology and a Chick-fil-A being right there. So I can't go back to no Chick-fil-A. I can't do it. I grew up everybody's like, "You're a city boy." I'm like, "Not really." I mean, but I like amenities. I mean, it's 2023, and I can go back out to my parents' house anytime I want and shoot big
Right.
brown animals. I can shoot big brown
Yeah.
animals, and I can come right back to town.
There you go.
Pulling this up. There's Randy on the She Squatchers.
Oh, okay. All right.
I needed to get on his ass because he never had a black background when I did it. A bunch of pretty girls show up. All of a sudden, he's Mr. Technology.
Wow.
I got to look at his kitchen window. He's got that gum hills of Italy behind him when they show up. I'm like, I discovered you, Randy. I discovered you.
Yeah.
If you want a guy the cool cat to be on your show one day, that guy is one of the best. He's one of my favorite people. I told my other friends, I think I love Randy.
Yeah.
He's a ball of energy, and he'll tell you, he goes, they're flesh and blood while they're here, but they disappear or something, and they can fuck with your mind real good. He goes, I don't understand what happens. He goes, I get lost all the time.
Yeah, I did get what's his name, Mr. Wadsworth, John, was it? What's his name, John?
1982 Wadsworth.
Yeah, I got him scheduled, I think, for March. Yeah.
He reminded me of Randy. His interview did.
Okay.
A lot of the same energy. They're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I need to finish watching that episode, because when I was at work earlier, when I was in my work truck, I started to listen to it while I had a little bit of time, because I mean, it's easy for me to listen to a podcast in the truck because even though it's through my phone, I got Bluetooth connection in the work truck. So, so yeah, when I get more time, I don't know. if I'll be able to do it tomorrow because we got some crazy stuff going on at work tomorrow. So yeah, but
Listen
yeah,
to
I
it on
definitely.
YouTube or like an audio app.
No, I came across it on the YouTube. Yeah, on your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
So
I've got the I put it on Anchor, or not Anchor, but Spotify and iTunes and everything else too.
okay.
Yeah, nobody
See,
ever finds that though. It's a good part.
well, yeah, it's funny you say that because for a while I have Anchor myself, and
Hmm.
yeah, because when I looked up where it's all aired and where you can listen to me at, I was like, wow, I didn't realize it branches out to all these different
Yeah.
ones. I've had it for a while, so because I'm on Pandora, iHeartRadio, and
Hmm.
Spotify, all that good stuff. But I've actually considered taking some of my podcasts, the ones I've done, and convert them into audio to upload them. But
Well,
I would.
good news. Anchor now just takes video files and puts them up as audio.
They do.
Yeah, no conversion.
Oh,
Used
well,
to be a
that's
bitch.
a
Used to be a bitch to do. You used to have to separate them out and have two files.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
since
that
Anchor was bought by Spotify, and Spotify does the video as well.
right.
So you upload a video file on Spotify, it's a video. On iTunes, it's audio. No change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to definitely start trying that out. Do that because I wanted to start picking back up with the Anchor, or at least keeping it active. So
Yeah,
um,
it's worth it. Worth it now.
yeah. The only thing is with Anchor, I am disappointed about. When I first started with them, it was for every so many listeners you accumulate funds,
Yeah.
and they stopped doing that. I mean, I made up to like $50, and then it stopped.
Really?
Yeah,
I never even got into that part. I left
yeah,
mine unmonetized. I don't know how much it could be.
yeah. Like I said, they don't do it anymore anyway. So regardless, I like using Anchor because it does reach out to a broader audience. If you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
So
All
because
the
like you
apps.
could. Oh yeah, because it shows you every country that people are
Mhm.
listening to it, and I was like, "What? Are you serious? I mean, this
Yeah.
is so cool."
I got huge in Nigeria and Germany for a while.
Wow, yeah,
I don't know what
absolutely.
happened there. I thought about making that a T-shirt. Huge in Nigeria. Somebody might think it was racist or something.
I mean, it's exciting for me and you, but I mean, there's other big podcasts out there like Sasquatch Chronicles and so many others that have been doing this a lot longer. And yeah, I mean, that's no surprise to them, but I think it's cool regardless. you
Yeah.
know,
And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to be a strictly niche show, because you get pulled down in that area, you'll get roped in in some kind of turf war. Like, that's my area. I'm like, come on, calm down, buddy.
right?
I want to put a booth at a convention and like go eat free hors d'oeuvres. That's my goal. And one day market my skills on how to do this to other people and retire to Tahiti. I don't want to be a huge competitor.
So this is kind of a stupid question. I mean, you're down in Alabama. How
Mhm.
far are you from? Would you say you are from South Carolina?
South Carolina, not far. I mean, it's just um, depending on how I get to South Carolina. I
Yeah,
can
because see,
go through Hilton Head. I can go to Augusta. Probably about 6 hours is
oh,
the closest.
oh, okay, yeah, Hilton Head. My ex girlfriend used to have a condo down there. So,
See, I'm at the
um,
very top northeast corner of Alabama. So I'm minutes from Georgia, minutes from Tennessee.
oh, okay, okay. All right, so yeah, so where I go, it's about well, depends on which way you go. It could be a 6 hour drive or it could be a 7 hour drive coming from
Mhm.
my location. Um, I know the part of South Carolina we go to. It's just maybe like an hour, maybe a couple hours, if that, maybe from Georgia. But it's because Westminster. It's more in the western part of the state. So,
It's going to
um,
sound weird, but it's quicker for me to get to North Carolina from here to South Carolina. By the way, geography works, because
oh,
you can go
okay,
to the Smokies. We go to the Smokies all the time because we're white and from Alabama, and
right.
we go up there and you go across Newfound Gap and you're in North Carolina. But to get to South Carolina, you got to go through Atlanta and Tennessee.
Oh,
Tennessee spans half the width of Georgia.
right. Like I go through like depending on which way I go down. once I leave out of Virginia, I actually end up going through a part of Tennessee, then coming back into North Carolina. Yeah,
it's weird. It's closer to get North Carolina because it's like right there. South Carolina's like the entire width of Georgia away.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Atlanta's 4 hours from here because there's no interstate. You got to go to Chattanooga and back down, or through the mountains, which is cool because there's Bigfoot up there and a big canyon to check out. But
yeah, Atlanta. I can't say I've ever. I have been to Atlanta, but at the airport because my flight from out of Virginia here that was taking me out to Spokane, Washington. Yeah, it went from Virginia down to Atlanta, and then but after being there for about an hour and a half, you jump on the plane, and then it's a 4.5 hour flight cross country. So
yeah,
but yeah, the Atlanta airport, and this is all new to me because this was just a couple months ago, and this was all new to me. First time flying and everything. But the Atlanta airport was huge, and from what I learned from talking to a couple people, it's like, yeah, this is one of the biggest airports out of the United States. So I was like, what?
It's the Delta hub.
Yeah. So I mean, it looked like walking through the whole airport. I mean, it looked like a big giant shopping mall, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what a lot. Yeah, it was cool though. But I enjoyed my adventure riding on an airplane for the first time and going out west for the first time. So, but yeah, that's something I could.
Those are fun things to do.
Yeah,
out west in airplanes.
Yeah, even better. I didn't have to pay for it. My flight and everything was covered. So,
even better.
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
Major cities were. I live in Huntsville now, so it gets more concerts and stuff than it used to because it's now the biggest city in the state. As far as population goes, but we had Birmingham and Nashville, Chattanooga, and Atlanta were the cities you go to for stuff. Back growing up. When it comes to concerts and comedy shows.
Yeah, well, talking about Tennessee, because that's something you might want to try to check out. You might find that there's an event taking place in September. September 9th and 10th. I'm actually one of the speakers for that event, and they have other celebrity guest actors that will be there. It's the Smoky Mountain Terror event.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've heard about it before. I always miss it.
Oh, well, this is the first time. This is the first time doing this event. This is the first time. The guy that's running this, his name is Justin Thurman. He actually hosts. He normally does the Hazard Fest, which I think I don't know if he does that in Alabama or Georgia. I don't know, but or somewhere. I don't know. It might be. It probably is. Yeah, because he does the Hazard Fest every year. He's the one that organizes and runs that. But this is his first time actually holding a conference-type festival event indoors. But like I said, he's got all these good celebrity actors. He's got some good names in there. He's got some paranormal. Of course, he's got me. Yay! So
you're going to be there?
Yeah, I'm one of the speakers for that event. So yeah, he's.
I think I was thinking of a car show because there's something called like a roller coaster, something called Smoky Mountain Terror.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got all kinds of shit up there. Gatlinburg is where I go because I'm not creative.
Right. This is taking place at the Evergreen Smoky Mountain Convention Center or something like that. Yeah, in Pigeon Forge.
Page here.
What's that?
You're on the website here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're looking at it right now?
Yeah. Scrolling. It's funny. Yeah. I see people I've had on my show. I'm like, oh shit, I know that person.
A good friend of mine is going to be there. His paranormal team. Jimmy Ricker. I don't know if you there's usually it's a picture of him and two others. This paranormal team. They're going to be there. So
let me see where it is. I'm curious. This is the kind of podcasts that are fun because you get off on other shit. Let's see where it is. And everything here. Cool. Okay. Right next to the Pancake House. I'm in. I know exactly where that is. Where's it? The 410 410 Parkway Pigeon.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I don't have the information in front of me though. Yeah, so.
Oh, so it's up there before you get right into the park. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, so I've never been to. I mean, there's many different events that take place right there in that cluster, or that general area. I've never been to not one of them, so this will be my first time.
Yeah, there's we went up there one year, and it was a car convention going on, and there was more. It sounded like everybody was weed eating for miles.
Oh wow!
Ding, 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 ding. And there was so 1,000 cars. Just how they get them, they drop them and donk them out, and
yeah, one of those
Fast and Furious. It was one of those kind of car conventions.
Well, that must have been pretty cool. The only car shows I've ever been to is especially the local ones they have around here. They have all the antique cars just parked in the parking lot, or they might have a section at some kind of festival where they have car shows, which is cool, So
this was like the entire Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. I was like, my God. Of course, like my uncle's a Vietnam veteran, and his platoon or brigade or whatever get together up there, and that's where they meet every year.
Huh.
We go up there about 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
I see where this is. Yeah, I see where this is now. Where it is? It's right before you start heading up into the Smokies.
All right.
Convention Center. KFC is right there. Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's right next to the Cracker Barrel.
Oh, okay.
My parents will meet us up there, and the Smokies is like the pancake capital of the South. Like there's pancake houses everywhere. And my dad was at the Cracker Barrel. I'm like, there's Pancake House.
Yeah, talking about pancake houses, we got Waffle House up here in Virginia, but I know when I started learning further south you go, you have the Huddle House. And the first time I ever heard of Huddle House was in Kentucky, but they got them in South Carolina and North Carolina. But I love the Huddle House. It's like the Huddle House is like Waffle House, but so much better. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, they have more options, and
I kind of tend to agree with you there. There's 6 or 8 Waffle Houses here in Huntsville, and back home, 50 miles away, the only Waffle House we have is the Huddle House. So everybody just calls it the Waffle House.
Okay.
It's got more variety. They have French fries.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want hash browns.
Yeah, and they if you got a sweet tooth, they got different, I don't know, ice creams, treats, or whatever you want to call it. So
we've got the berry and whipped cream waffles.
Yeah.
that was the only place like that growing up that we had to eat. I worked at the local Kmart, so when Huddle House opened, it was a big to do.
Yeah.
Put on your nice drawers, baby. We're going to Huddle House.
Yeah, Denny's restaurant it's kind of like that, but I used to work at a Denny's a long time ago, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but their food I liked their food better. I mean, at the time, but I just haven't been to a Denny's in forever. I've always enjoyed their omelets. So, yeah, we got one Denny's, but almost an hour. No, it is a good hour north of me. So, but it's all part of a truck stop, though.
Yeah, there's a Denny's here, but I ain't going there at night.
One of those.
It's in the scary part of town.
Wow.
That's funny. This is right here in this. I mean, what is it, September? I wonder if I can parlay. What is that, a weekend? Smoky Mountain Paranormal Cryptid Horror Convention.
Yeah, I believe that's a Saturday and Sunday, I think. The 9th and 10th is the dates. So,
see if they got a booth.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'd be cool. You come set up or maybe run a podcast from your booth,
Just go live for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people do that at my event, and I totally welcome it, because they broadcast live. They actually interview people that are there if people want to participate, of course. And yeah, I mean, I've been to other events where I've seen other people doing it, which I think it's a cool thing to do, is to have a podcast group or team there, just doing the coverage on it, and and interviewing people, picking up more clientele, and and meanwhile, if you're there, you're enjoying yourself just being there. That's how I am when I go to these events. Apart from speaking at these events, I like just trying to be there and hang out and relax and enjoy myself. I actually got an event that I'm going to up in northwestern part of Pennsylvania, almost on the Ohio line. And I'm not speaking there, but I've been supporting and help promoting this event for a friend of mine that is putting this on. But the Penn Ohio Paranormal Conference. It's happening on my birthday, by the way, March 25th. And
really,
yeah, and I'm going there. I plan on going there. Hopefully, everything continues to work out in my favor. But yeah, I'm going up there just to hang out and relax, and that's what I want to be able to do. But I'm scheduled to be at several events this year. As far as speaking goes, but I don't want to. I'm trying not to overdo it either. I told myself before this year came around, I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a break and try not to do too many events this year. And next, I mean, technically, if you see what I have lined up, it's really not a lot for those who do this a lot more than I do. But it's enough for me because I have to put in time for, I have a lot of time off from work, but I don't want to use it all up going to these conventions, because I have other projects I want to work on here on my own. These Bigfoot and Cryptid conventions are awesome. They're a lot of fun. You get to meet new people. You get to run in and meet up with friends that you met along the way or people you've already known from online. And you get to hear stories. You gather information. You learn a few things, that's why I like doing it.
That would be kind of cool to meet the guys you've talked to on here.
Oh, yeah.
Coax my other co-host to go. That'd be kind of. He's in Houston, Texas. I see where Hillbilly Horror Stories is going to be there.
Okay, yeah. See, I knew of them. I just never met them before, but I knew of them. So yeah.
Here's where I want to show my ignorance with those guys. They're not Southern, and that really bothered me. And I wish I didn't feel like that.
Huh?
They still got a good show though. They still got a really good show. I listen to it a lot. I think out of Wisconsin. The first time I listened to it, I was like, "Hey, we're from Wisconsin." I'm like, "What?" Maybe I'm right. This says Lexington, Kentucky. Did I just catch an offbeat? What the hell?
Wisconsin, isn't that the way they talk like? Don't you know?
Oh yeah, don't you know there?
Yeah.
See, why is this all in Kentucky? Now I feel stupid. The one I listened to, they were all from Wisconsin. It's not right.
Ah.
I've got to give them another chance now. God, I'm a dick. I was like, Wisconsin, I threw my phone out of my truck.
Oh, no.
You don't even have a team in the SEC. This is not even. See, that's it. So, they're really good, though. I've listened to them since. They're really good, but I was like, they're from Wisconsin.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just curious. You mind if I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm just surfing here.
Oh, yeah. Apart from doing the podcast, do you ever go out and do any scouting around for Bigfoot evidence or anything?
I've done it once.
Once? Okay.
See, I'm scared I'm going to find something. I'm more of like a honestly, I'd never really given it a thought until I met Randy Bauer. I kind of thought it was just like a pipe dream. A subject I enjoyed. Now I'm like, man, if I go out there with the right intention, something's going to get me, or I'll see something. So, my parents have a few acres up in the woods.
Yeah,
I went up there a month or so ago, and I walked back down, and I had my camera facing, like they say, like this.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't see. There was one frame. I hate that I saw it because I'm like, I should not even be looking. But it looked like something. I mean, way back. It looked like something peeked out for a second and peeked back out. I'm like, I wish I had seen that. I don't even know where the video is.
Oh man,
it's a limb. It's got to be a limb. But it was
there. Well, I tell you what. Even being out in the woods, being out in the woods itself it can be an optical illusion on what you see.
I don't think like the red circles, the blob squatches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not into that.
Well, there was one time, this is several years ago, when I go out in the woods, I always film, I always take my camera out there, I film the scenery, what I'm looking at. But when I got back, when I was going through my footage, I had several different clippings, so I was working on editing to put them all together. And I'm going through this one scene where I was actually looking up on the hill. I was like, what the heck? I kept going back and forth, like barely moving back and forth. Mm-hmm. What it looked like when looking up on the hill looked like a small bipedal figure jumped from one tree, ran on the ground, and then jumped up to another tree. And I kept looking at that, and it's like I paused it and I held it just right, and I kept looking at. I let the whole thing play. Then that's when it revealed to me exactly what it was. There was this little leaf, like kind of doing this number, and my camera, I was moving just enough to where it looked like it was a figure kind of going back and forth. But I was like, holy crap. I just kept looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. Yeah, finally, I debunked my own, like, where I thought it was actually something there, really there, like a small bipedal figure jumping from tree, running across, and jumping to another tree. But, I mean, that's what it looked like. But it was just a leaf. Understand. Yeah. But it's crazy.
Leaves doing, leaves hanging like that, like when you're deer hunting.
Yes.
Like, what is that?
I think it's an ear flicking or tail.
Obviously a 12-point walking toward me. Nope, it's a leaf.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, it's crazy what your brain wants to see, that uncanny valley off into the void kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we all have that Paradolia built into us. And, regardless if we want to see something or not. Yeah, I mean, I see images in certain things all the time. We can look at a tree and see a face sometimes, because of the way the bark and the presentation of the tree is laid out and grown. And it's amazing what we see out there, regardless if it's in person or on somebody's video.
I hate the pictures that zoomed in on a tree and there's a face. Or it's not a face. It's just not. I want you to believe it is, but it's not.
Growing up as a kid, I'm sure maybe you've done it too. I think almost everybody's done it, at some point in time. But looking up in the sky, looking at the clouds, hey, look at that shape. It looks like a dinosaur. It looks like a foot. Whatever. We've all seen shapes in the clouds, regardless if that's what it really is or not. But I mean, Paradolia surrounds us. It could be I don't know. It could be a terrible drug.
I've had like realizations about, I don't want to say I'm a genius by any means, but like how other people just don't have experience in the woods like I had growing up. I'm like, They just don't know. They don't, like, to me, some of the stuff I see on these groups I'm in, I'm like, have y'all never been outside?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get people that tell me, well, I go out in the woods all the time. I know my wildlife. I know my nature. I said, well, maybe you do. And I'm saying to a certain extent. I try not to. I don't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? I try not to insult people, But but at the same time, you're really wondering, well, what do they really know? Because I've been out in the woods since I was a little kid. I mean, Dad used to take me out hunting with him. We had property where we lived was surrounded by woods. I was playing in the woods, building forts, and way in the back we had a pile of rocks. Mm-hmm. We used to build forts out of the rocks, and like they looked like little caves. And, I mean, I used to walk through the woods, playing, seeing all kinds of critters and wildlife. But you just
makes you wonder what kind of time they have in.
Right. I mean, because like me and you, back when we were kids, we didn't have internet. We as far as access to internet, we didn't have the cell phones we had today. We didn't have cell phones, period, unless you were a business person. I'm sure I mean, we had the outdoors. We played outside more. Of course, till Nintendo came about.
Our house was like literally in the woods, so if the back windows were open, we were outside in the woods. Like the stuff people hear, I'm like, that's not anything. That's just a bird, man. That's a cicada.
Yeah, like, I mean, kids weren't playing video games. Yeah, I mean, I had two older sisters. So, I mean, we had Atari. Then of course when Nintendo first came out, we had me and my brother had the Nintendo system. Of course, mom and dad, well, mainly mom, because dad was at work during the day, but Mom was like, "Shut that off and go outside and play."
Yeah, we had
you're not gonna be inside all day. You go outside, you know. But
we had all the Nintendos, and we still camped like it was our job half the time.
Yeah.
People, one guy, I don't like. One guy sent me a recording of owls, and I used to sit up and call for owls on purpose.
Oh yeah,
and to get them in, I'm like, dude, this is owls. Stop it! It's owls. I know what owls are. You're not getting me over on this.
Yeah, that's another thing I have in discussions with people. Yeah, owls. I love hearing owls because here in Virginia, very common to hear, especially in my research area, part of the national forest, is the barred owls. Sometimes you'll hear them close. A lot of times they will be close. Sometimes you'll hear them distant, a little bit further away. They might be up in a hill or a holler, and you're gonna hear them sound different sometimes. And I've had some people like, "Dude, did you hear that?" It's like because owls, depending on where they are or where they're located, it can sound a little heavier and bassier sometimes.
I've heard more people post that wah 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 that those owls do out there.
No, okay,
it's just a hoot owl, man. A wah 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 wah. It's not a squatch.
Yeah. There's sounds that these barred owls make up here, and I've heard them numerous times. I'll tell you, the first time I ever heard this scream from a barred owl, yeah, I mean, it took me a while to understand and learn what it really was. But yeah, barred owls have a lot of weird sounds. A lot of animals have different sounds that we don't always get to hear. But I had some. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there was this one particular time I had some friends camping with me, and like I said, you're not expecting it. You don't know if it's going to happen or what, but this god awful scream from a barred owl that was probably sitting right up behind our camp, gave off their scream that they do sometimes, and my buddy got so excited. He wasn't scared. He got excited thinking it was a squatch. And I was like, man, I'm getting ready to tell him, but as I'm getting ready to tell him, my mind's like, don't insult him. Don't insult him. I'm like, because I have a habit of, apparently, the way I word things or say things, it could be insulting sometimes, and I don't mean to be that way. But by just by telling some, because I mean, well, here's the thing: this person that heard this with me, he's a grown adult. He's actually older than me, and I was like, man, you don't want to insult their intelligence because they're supposed to know this stuff, or you think they should, but it's like. No, man, it's just an owl, buddy. It's just an owl. Trust me, I hear that owl here every so often. And it's the same person. I mean, I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to put him out there and embarrass him. I mean, not that he listens to podcasts anyway. But he's been out hiking with me and on camping events and stuff. And we're walking down a regular trail. And we're walking down. And all of a sudden, we see this pile of poop. And he's pointing at it, telling his son, there's some big bear scat right there. And I'm looking down at it. I was like, that's horse shit.
You're on a trail?
Yeah, we were on a trail. Yeah, it's a narrow trail that goes deep in the woods, but apparently at some point, somebody went horseback riding here. There's horse poop right there, and then in the soft ground, yeah, you could actually see the hoof prints. I mean, trust me, I know my horse poop. We grew up with horses. My sisters used to ride. We had 4 horses in the backyard. So, I mean, I was around horses growing up. Yeah. Yeah. You pull it apart, it might have hay or grass in it, but so
that scene where they found one in Shawshank Redemption. Hey, what's this, a rock? It's a horse apple. What?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's amazing the simple things. I mean, yeah, you're not going to encounter a horse out in nature unless somebody's riding it. But I mean, like I said, growing up around animals, or I grew up around farms, cattle. We had pigs growing up where we used to go to the dairy farm every year because the dairy farm had their own store. We used to go there, buy our milk from their store. We used to raise pigs as little piglets till they get full size. Dad used to, take them to the dairy farm to get processed, and all that good stuff. So I was always around animals, regardless if they were domesticated or wildlife. So I've been
They
around
say,
animals.
yeah,
So, but I mean, anywhere from the smallest animal to the largest beast. I mean, I've seen them somewhere along the lines. So
I have been on like a hiking trail when somebody comes by on a horse, and you're not ready to see a horse. It's the weirdest thing when you're not ready to see a horse because they look funny when you hear the sound, you hear them coming up. You hear just like a rustle. You look up, there's a damn horse. God.
Oh, if I hear a rustle in the ground, I'm going to be turning around. I'm not going to think a squirrel because I've had bears. People don't realize this. Bears can be so quiet. They can walk up on you and you'll never know it until it's too late. But yeah, bears, because of the padding on their feet, they walk so quiet. Or it depends on how they move sometimes. But I can't say I've ever had the experience with a horse startling me out in the woods. But I will say this one: I was walking up on a trail. I was out there pretty far in the woods, and I had just seen a bear up off to my left going up the hill. And so some time had passed after seeing that bear, and all of a sudden I'm walking along that trail. I'm going further up. And all of a sudden, I never heard a thing. I swear, I never heard nothing. But every once in a while, I like to glance behind me. But this particular moment, I turned around and glanced. And right as I was turning, this guy on a mountain bike, like, scared the crap out of me. I mean, he was flying, but I never heard him. His bike was so quiet and smooth on that worn-out little narrow trail. So
he hit you with on your left, on your right.
No, yeah, I never heard nothing. He's like, "Oh man, sorry about that." That's the most I've heard about him after he passed.
Normally, I was like, "Man, left, on your right."
Yeah, there was plenty of room. It was a narrow trail, but the woods was open and clear right there. There wasn't a lot of bushes in this particular area. But man, it gave me a heart attack because I was not expecting him. Never heard him, but so.
I used to fish in this little creek, and my cousins would sneak up on me on a bicycle. So you just be right behind me and start talking. Just on the road, I wouldn't hear his tires. I don't know. I didn't have headphones on. It's like 1995.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting on this culvert fishing for brim, and all of a sudden I'd hear somebody talking right behind me.
Yeah, the '90s were. Yeah, the '90s were good years as far as I'm concerned. I was, being a teenager, especially in the area where I lived at. We grew up on this lake. Well, I grew up on a lake. I'm originally from Massachusetts. We lived at a lake up there. And then after moving down to Virginia at a young age, I grew up on the other side from where I'm at now. But we were in a lake community, so I was always on the water, either out on the John boat that we had, or playing with friends that lived actually had water ferns. And but yeah, we had a lot of adventures in there, and there was somewhere else I was going with this about, and I lost my train of thought on it. But there was something I was going to say along the lines. But yeah, I grew up on the water, had a lot of good times out there. But yeah, I hate when I lose my train of thought because it was getting ready to roll out there. I was like, wait, where was I going with this?
I think it's funny when it happens on here. It happens to me all the time. Do you know?
Yeah.
How old were you in Massachusetts? How long were you up there?
Well, I was born up there, but we moved down to Virginia. I was 11, almost 11 years old, getting ready to turn 11. Yeah, actually, I was 11 when we got down here. So, and we lived in Spotsylvania, then lived in Caroline County, and then now I live in the Shenandoah Valley, which is on the western part of the state. West of the Blue.
Virginia.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here. The Shenandoah Valley is awesome. The funny thing is about living here, and I don't know, maybe there's people like this in other areas, but when I get into an area, I want to know my area. I want to know where these roads lead. I want to know where they go. I'm somebody that gets out and ventures. I'm not afraid of getting lost, and I'm somebody that wants to know about. Okay, I love going out to the woods to hike and camp. and do whatever, or simply explore. So these are some of the things I'm using as an example that I want to know. I want to know landmarks. I want to know territories. And would you know there's people that grew up here all their life and never heard of the lake that I go camping at? It's like, dude, it's only about 45 minutes to an hour west of here. You know, um, I mean, certain places you'll be surprised. People that grew up here, that been here all their life, don't know half of the crap you talk about, and you just moved. You only lived here for 20 years out in this area. You know, if that. You know,
Well,
but yeah,
I mean,
people.
you get over in that area, or not area, but that type of people, they're just, kind of, not want to say poor, but they really don't have a. I know I know the
Yeah,
kind of folks you're talking about. Like, what? How do you not?
yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, I guess it depends on your interest as well. That might make it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's a lot of people, like, especially if you like to fish, you're going to learn about all the different places to go fishing. Especially here in Virginia, where they stock their trout so many times a year. You want to know what lakes and what rivers are being stocked when and where. So, yeah,
Mhm.
these are the people that know these areas. So, but yeah, I
You
guess,
got
like, if you're
River
not
Oaks
into
is full of
camp,
Lynchburg.
yeah.
Trout
So,
Lake is full
yeah,
of Jack Daniels.
okay. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, yeah. That was something new here that I've learned compared to Massachusetts. I was like, because I mean, trout, they're not really native down here. I mean, maybe in some places they might be, but like they have to, stock the trout here, because I guess up in Massachusetts it's considered a colder state. I guess. I mean, they get hot weather too, but their lakes are more. I don't know. I guess it's more native for a lot of these certain species of fish to live in, but I was like, man, it took me a while to understand. I was like, why do they gotta stock the lakes down here?
Yeah.
But
They
it's
don't live here.
same thing with pike. Um, yeah, you got northern pike and muskies. Now, I don't know if there's any lakes down here that got northern pike, although some people claim they caught pike down here. And I was like, I very much doubt you caught a pike down here because
Yeah.
they need
That's
cold water. Yeah. They're probably calling. I mean, I think what it is because there is pickerels down here. I've fished in ponds and caught some decent sized pickerel in different parts of here in Virginia, and a lot of people they see that they all of the pike family and they do look like a pike, but there is a difference. But so, but yeah, a pickerel might get up to 10 pounds, give or take. Now like up in Massachusetts, northern pike
they're
fishing,
monsters.
apart from yeah, apart from bass fishing, yeah, if you're into pike fishing, yeah, I've had some friends. Well, they were my age, but catching anywhere from 35 to 45 pound pike, and yeah, those are monsters. So now there is some places down here. I don't know how often or if they do, but I think there's this one small little lake. They had stocked it with muskie. And I think some of the muskie's been caught, but I think some of them survived because like I said, they're usually a cold water fish unless they dug. This is a man-made lake, so unless they dug it out deep enough, they made because the deeper it goes, the colder it will get, where they might survive.
And that's
But
like the ice fish kind of fish, isn't it? The muskies and the pikes.
yeah, 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 that and walleye. So yeah.
We've got a
Um,
species of walleye here called the Jack sauger.
oh, I think I've heard
Yeah.
that. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, they look like a generic, like a knockoff walleye. Like the
Oh,
fins just aren't. Well, they look just like it if you can't tell, but apparently they're really good
so
eating. Like,
do they still have the marble looking eyes?
yeah, I mean, if you looked at them compared to, I think it'd be like. I mean, let's look at them here, Jack sauger compared to walleye, but they look almost exactly the same, but there is like
Huh.
like a slight difference. Matter of fact, I can pull up a thing here. I can't tell the
Long
difference.
time ago, when me and Dad were fishing, we were out in the John boat. I hooked into a walleye. For the longest time during this fight, I didn't know what I had on there, but it was huge. Oh, wait a minute here. Oh, okay.
It's a yellow. There we go. There's a big picture of it.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share that one. Different screen.
I see the difference over to the right compared to the ones on the left over here. Yeah,
Hang on.
I saw the difference in the fin pattern there, the style, the shape of it.
Yeah, it's like a knockoff walleye.
That's interesting. Now, would they have to call it like? Would it be considered a type of hybrid by any chance?
I'm not sure. They call it I just call it a jack here.
Okay.
And I've caught every fish in this state, but I've never caught one of those. I've only seen one once.
Yeah.
I worked at a bait shop and we had a fish fry every week, and people would bring in their eating fish. And one of those, like, what the hell is that thing?
Now, up here in Virginia, I don't know if they still do, but for the longest time, I heard friends and other people call, yeah, I caught a jackfish. I looked up jackfish. Come to find out, it was a bowfin. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they call
them, yeah. You know, I remember I hooked into one of them too. Me and some friends, we went into this one area off the road. It was kind of like a flooded, marshy area that branched off the river. And I caught a couple bass in there, and I was using a spinnerbait, and right there at the surface, man, I thought I had a shark on there. I was like, what the heck is this? And I got it up, and I was like, I got it up. He got him up on the bank, and man, he was huge. It was a big old bowfin. Of course, he got off my line and rolled back into the water. But I will tell you, he was a big boy, and he put up a heck of a fight. So
yeah, the bowfins ain't playing. They're prehistoric.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
The bigger they are, the crazy, the harder they fight too. Check that one out.
Yeah,
big old bowfin there.
Oh wow,
he was a hoss.
Man.
Sometimes they have colors in their mouth, like they've been eating popsicles.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I caught one time in a sinkhole. We have a lot of sinkholes around here.
Yeah.
But the creeks come up through. I caught one, and it had looked like it'd been drinking a blueberry popsicle. His mouth was bright blue. Then I caught one, and his mouth was bright orange. I'm like, what the hell was that? I've never really confirmed why, but nobody believed me. I'm like, yeah, his mouth was blue, like he had a popsicle.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah.
I would swear on my mama's grave. But yeah, it was insane. I'm like, man, his mouth is.
Now, I wonder if it was orange. Yeah, I wonder if that's something natural or like, I don't know. I'd never heard that's something different.
It wasn't. But like I said, it was in a farmer's field, so it could have been pesticides.
Yeah. But then again, like I said, that was the only time I've ever really caught a bowfin, but I didn't get it. I mean, I didn't get to look in his mouth because he had already got off, and but it's all good.
Sometimes bowfins develop green mouths, so I'm not crazy. There's a picture of one. Okay, gee. I'm not nuts. Dude, it looked like that thing had been like a little kid with a freezy pop.
Oh, hold on. Let me scroll up my phone there. Oh, there we go. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, man. And one time I caught one that was orange. I'm like, I guess. But I've seen that right there, and it was intense, like a bright blue, dark blue almost.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I wonder if it's something to do with the gland where I don't know. It must be. Apparently, it's natural.
It's intense. I thought like nobody ever believed me. I'm like, man, I just more pictures of it. Apparently, those snakeheads are good eating. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been catching them out of the big rivers out here because one of our main rivers in Virginia is what do you call it? The Rappahannock. They've caught them out of the Rappahannock and some of these flooded creeks and stuff. So,
what's funny about the bowfins is the longer they get, like the fat part of their body stops growing, like proportional, and they just become all tail, like all the skinny part. And so they look like almost like a flat snake on the end.
Huh.
It's crazy. Like I see them a lot. I see them a lot more bow fishing than I do actually fishing.
Yeah.
First time I caught one, I thought I caught a dinosaur. I was like, "What is this?" I took it to a store by my house, And my cousin's grandpa
Right.
who was fishing with me was there. He goes, "That there's a scaly cat." I'm like, "What the scaly cat?"
Yeah, that's a new name. I can't say I've ever heard that term before. That name.
That's a North Alabama thing.
Mm.
there's a lot of that going around. It's because when a bowfin has like two little whiskers coming out right here, sticks out behind their jaw,
Okay.
and
Oh, yeah.
when their mouth closes, when their mouth closes, they have little protruding things. They just call them scaly cats because they got scales.
Gotcha. It's like my buddy Zach.
Say in North Alabama, you can't say anymore.
Yeah, I guess every state has their own names and things. My buddy Zach out in Illinois, young guy. He's not quite 30 yet, but like half the time he said, I talk to him and he says stuff, and I was like, "What do you say?" I said, "What are you saying?" I said, "What's that mean, Zach?" I was like, "Man, that's what we say, such and such." I said, "No, you're not. You just make shit up." Yeah. He lives in the southern part of Illinois. I always pick on him. He's a good kid, though.
They say "r" and down there in Illinois.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest like cherry picked Southern accent I've ever heard. Now "r" down there.
Well,
R.
yeah. If you go up north, like especially up around where I'm originally from, yeah. If somebody's got a strong northern Massachusetts accent, if you say car, you won't hear the R.
The car?
Yeah, it's just car. Get in the car.
Yeah, keys. That's what I was going to ask you about Massachusetts. Not to change the subject, I was going to ask you about Massachusetts. If you ever did any research on the Bridgewater Triangle?
No. I can't say that I have. The Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah, apparently it's a Massachusetts thing between, I don't know why it's called that, but there's like a lot of phenomenon going around up there, and like researchers spend a lot of time on it.
Okay.
I was trying to get a panel together. I've got a half a dozen guys, I guess, maybe. But
well,
yeah,
next time next time I talk to my sister Melanie, well, she lives in Rhode Island, but I'll have to talk to her, see if she's ever heard of anything like that.
Yeah,
because she does learn about a lot of different things. I mean, but
there's a documentary on it on Amazon. It's that big of a deal.
And you said it again. It's called the what? Bridgewater Triangle.
Bridgewater Triangle. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called that, but it's Massachusetts.
Yeah,
apparently Massachusetts is a hotbed for this stuff.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
I didn't even know they had woods in that state. Apparently, it's like a whole thing.
Oh well, Massachusetts. Yeah. Now, like the town I grew up in. I mean, like, well, for example, the street I lived on, it was a lot of woods there. But now there's all kinds. I mean, I haven't been up there in a long, long time. But last time I was up there, I can tell you it's all grown up with new houses and subdivisions. I was like, and
seems to be going around these days.
Yeah, yes. I'm sure you see it down there because, like, when we first came to Virginia, over on the eastern side of the state where I was living at, like Fredericksburg, there was one part of Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania area. The area was called Massaponax. Well, I could tell you this one particular area where it was nothing but all woods and trees. Now it's all shopping plazas, Walmarts, restaurants, and I was like, wow, it's all built up there. It's amazing what goes on in just over a few years, So
one of the guys I was talking about is one of your Facebook friends. I was just checking it out. Jeremy Sanborn.
Okay.
He's one of the Massachusetts guys.
Yeah.
That guy's a trip. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, half the people I know and talk to on Facebook, sometimes I'm not always aware of where they're from sometimes, unless I talk to them a lot. So yeah.
I go through and friend them as I reach out. Oh, good Lord. I go through and friend them as I reach out just to keep like a network going. We got a lot of friends. Half of them been on my podcast.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the way to do it, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, if they can't share the video afterwards, no point in doing it, to be honest.
Right.
Everybody's going to look at it. Now, Jonathan Wadsworth, I don't know if he knows how to share a video, but I tagged him in it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it did any good.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed, like just his picture wasn't on the pad. Did he ever turn his picture on at any point?
Yeah, he had his finger in front of it a couple times.
Oh,
yeah.
He was probably having a bad hair day.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll take somebody who has a story and attitude like him over somebody coming live from a studio that's just a dead conversation any day of the week.
Right.
I'll take that. I'll take somebody looking at the ceiling fan with a good story over somebody with all the stuff in the world that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
Especially because I think it leans to their authenticity a little bit. It's like gas station food. It just tastes better for some reason.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, when you listen to like when people are sharing a story, like when they're telling a story about their encounter or what happened to them, I have a tendency that like while I'm listening to them, all of a sudden I'm being drawn in, and this doesn't happen with everybody, but a lot of the people I talk to and interview, like you're being drawn into it to the point where you're visualizing everything as they're talking about it, and I tend to believe that I'm not saying the ones that I don't get drawn into ain't telling the truth, but it's like some of them, I don't know. It's like I don't know, maybe my mind or whatever's going on inside my head is randomly choosing. Hey, look, this is like this video is playing inside, and I'm visualizing what's really happening while the person is sharing this. So it's yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it makes it more credible when that happens to me while I'm hearing somebody's story, but. Yeah.
Some of them just sound like BS. Some of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
squirrel, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess it helps the way that somebody explains or tells their story. That makes a big difference. Because you got some people that are very well detail oriented and know how to go along and explain and share the details. Then you have some where you have to go in there and like, okay, what color was he? How big was he? You have to ask all the basic details where, I don't know. Some people like, yeah, I was walking down a trail and I saw a Bigfoot. Okay. I mean, that's just the, maybe that might be an exaggerating example, but there's some people's stories that are just kind of too like, blah. I was like, come on. You weren't scared. Like, how do you feel? You act like. Sometimes I feel like I'm a psychologist asking these questions. I say, well, how did that make you feel?
Where did the touch you on the ball?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you meet all kinds of people, and you get to feel them out based on how they really share their information.
Oh yeah, it's a game. I'm looking for patterns when I do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna run out. I gotta run to the restroom real quick.
Oh no, you're fine.
I don't want to be that guy. I just edited it out. I've got a computer. Hang on. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah, when Macaulay Culkin went on Joe Rogan's show, he said, "I really have to pee." I'm like, well, if Macaulay Culkin can take a piss during a podcast, anybody can.
Yeah. Hey, we're all human. We got bodily functions that that occur and take place. But yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I've done that in the middle of my podcast before. Well, if I've had, usually like most of the time, I have a co-host myself.
Mm-hmm.
So where I could easily just like, hey, like my friend Gwendolyn from Pennsylvania, she's like Gwendolyn, I'll let you take over. I'm going to disappear for a few minutes.
Oh yeah, if I've got Wild Treat or somebody on here, I'll just kill my camera and go mute.
Yeah.
Just. I knew we were wrapping up, but I'm like, I don't want to like end like, oh God, hurry up.
Right.
I've been eating a lot less lately and drinking a lot of water, so it's killing me.
Yeah, that's actually what's in my soda bottle is nothing but water. So
sit here and drink this Yeti cup and a coffee while I do this because I like to be caffeinated to get excited.
I just opened up my Coke Zero. I mean my Pepsi Zero. So I say Coke Zero because that's usually what I drink is Coke Zero. But I like the Pepsi Zeros once in a while. They're a little sweeter.
Pepsi Max will get you lit up.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to. I really need to slim down on the colas and sodas and stuff because I do drink a lot of water when I'm at work because I mean I'm usually on the road. I'm usually driving half the time, but it's all good. I try to keep myself hydrated and I shouldn't be drinking sodas anyway because I'm a diabetic. I'm type 2 diabetic, so got to watch all that junk.
I was getting close.
Yeah.
And I usually teeter. I try to teeter. This time I got to get back down, or I'll hit me. I'll turn 40. I'll turn 40 and be type 2 if I ain't careful.
Mm.
It ain't about that life.
Yeah. The one way being a type 2 diabetic affects me is I got to watch my blood sugar levels because being a driver for the company I work for, I got to get a DOT test and a physical done, and that's one of the things they do. They check your A1C. And, well, if I have an updated A1C from my doctor, I get to bring that in, and as long as it's up to date, if it's good, that's one thing, because everything else I pass with flying colors is no big deal. But yeah, being a type 2 diabetic, and there's other things. I've had people that had other people I used to work with that had high blood pressure. They got denied because their blood pressure was too high, and it wasn't being under control. So yeah, but yeah, well, all the crap we go through just to even work.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I get hypoglycemic, and I'm a computer guy, so I can't imagine doing that and being behind the wheel of a truck.
Yeah, I don't drive a big rig. I mean, the company I work for, we drive. We deal with construction material, erosion control material, and also now, well, the company I formerly worked for dealt with all that. We still do, but we got bought out over a year and a half ago. And the company that bought us out, they're commercial. They do a lot of plumbing, residential, commercial. You may have heard of them, maybe. I don't know. They're called Ferguson Waterworks is the company I work for. So, and I drive a pickup truck, and we do have bigger trucks. We're supposed to be getting another big truck before long. We had one over a year ago, and when it broke down, it had too many miles. It was too old of a model. They didn't want to fix it. So, but we're supposed to be getting a new one here soon. So, which would be awesome. But yeah, I drive a Dodge Ram 3500. That has a 15-foot flatbed, and then normally I have a 26-foot aluminum flatbed trailer hooked to it because usually I'm carrying a lot of crap. So
that's a Hoss 15-foot bed with a 30-foot.
Yeah, 26-foot flatbed. Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's about 6 to 7 months ago, I got pulled over by DOT and they put me on the scales. And to be honest with you, there really was not a lot on there, but they dinged me for being so much overweight. So me and my boss went there. We had to go to court, and they postponed it. And then we had to update the registration through DMV. So it went from 35.5 to up to 17,000. We upped it. So now we're totally covered on that one. But so, and I mean, I'm a non-CDL driver. However, my supervisor is talking about, my big boss is eventually going to be talking to me about going after my CDL. I was like, I don't know. That might be more responsibility and a lot more headache. I don't know if I want that. So,
yeah, you can't do anything wrong then.
Basically, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm content doing what I'm doing right now. Let somebody else be a CDL driver and deal with all the other heavier crap.
Yeah, unless there's in my equivalent, I say equivalent, there's a security clearances, top secret and secret.
Oh, yeah.
And they always, all these places want you to get a top. I don't want a top secret, man. I don't want that target on my back and can't do anything. Can't get a speeding ticket. I'll have to tell somebody.
Well, I feel like having a concealed carry permit puts me on a clearance level itself because they had to do a background check and all criminal background, whatever. And yeah, I mean, I got a concealed carry permit. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I feel.
They definitely do a background check for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're not have no any ugly crimes or anything like that.
I went and upgraded mine because I got tired of it expiring. Upgraded it
Right.
for 5 years. I got the big card. I mean, I got the gold platinum package. And 2 months later, the governor of Alabama passed a law for permitless carry statewide. I'm like, what the?
Wow.
I like the Constitution, but I just spent $100 on this sumbit.
Well, look at it this way. That's still a good thing though, because now if you travel outside of state, having that permit, it covers you, because a lot of states carry, like Virginia, a lot of the other southern states and surrounding states to the west of us and south of us all recognize and support the Virginia permit. Now, like if I go up to Pennsylvania a lot. You know, of course, going up there, they do not recognize or support the Virginia permit, which sucks because I mean, my sidearm goes everywhere with me. I don't care if it's illegal or not. I keep it concealed. That's the whole point of having the permit anyway. So, but who knows? That concealed carry might protect me someday in a non-carrying state.
That's kind of what worries me about going to Minnesota is half the states I'll pass through I can't tote.
Right.
And I hate traveling and not have it, like, something in the door or right next to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what gets me. Like, there's got to be some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of leadway to the point where, well, look, you're going through a state that doesn't allow it, and then the next state over does. But what happens if you get pulled over before you make it there? You should be able to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talking about being stuck in the middle. But yeah, you should. Right. Yeah, that's like when I went out to Washington State a couple months ago. I mean, I was like, I knew for sure they weren't, but I was like, of course I wasn't going to carry it with me anyway. I had to get on a plane. I mean, you would have to go through a lot of crap to get through a plane, But
yeah, you're not carrying. But
yeah, so.
Really carry a laptop and a pair of flip flops.
Yeah, that's one thing. I was only going out there for a couple of days because I went out there. I got filmed on a show out there. It was an in-person interview for a show called Bigfoot Today, and yeah, they flew me out on a Tuesday. Did the show Wednesday morning, and then they showed me around, took me out and about on Wednesday, and tell you what, I really enjoyed my time out there, but unfortunately, the next day I had to go back to the airport to fly back home.
Yep. But damn, what kind of budget does a show like that have? That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, the guy who hosts the show, he has, I don't know. His name is Stephen Major. He is the founder of the Extreme Northwest Expeditions LLC. He's been on several different documentaries and stuff. And but he also hosts a convention that's happening out there. He's got Jeff Meldrum, Cliff Brackman, and some other good names up there. And I was actually disappointed because I got invited to be a speaker there too. And I says, Steven, man, I can't do it. I said, your event is on the same day as my annual event that I host every June. I said, I got my Virginia Bigfoot Conference June 17th, and that's when his event is. I said, if next year, if you could give me enough notice, I could schedule mine on a different date. I said, I already had everything booked and secured, money invested, and, I said, I can't do that. But I'm hoping it works out because there's a lot of things I had to turn. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but another big thing I would have loved to be a part of that's taking place in May. I also got invited. He was going to fly me back out there. Well, not to Washington, but to British Columbia to do a 10-day filmed extreme Bigfoot expedition. And the thing is, in the month of May, up in British Columbia.
1 degree there in May.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They provide all the equipment, all the gear, everything necessary. They cover your food, your flight out there, of course, and all that good stuff. And for 10 days, I would have had to use up probably 90% of my PTO, my paid time off from work. And I was actually going to go out there and not use much of it. My boss had already approved for me to do it, and he was totally cool with it. But then I got to thinking, it just kept dwelling on my mind. I was like, oh man, no, this ain't gonna work out. I said, just those couple of days of missing work going out there, because I went out there, I didn't have no time off when I went out there till it renewed after the first and all that good stuff. But so I contacted Steven. I said, look, man, I can't do this. I said, I explained to him. I said, I gave it a lot of thought, because those couple of days of missing work put a hurting on me. I live paycheck to paycheck, even though I get paid decent money. Now things are tight on me, but I had to turn it down. I mean, that would have been something amazing and awesome to add to my resume in the Bigfoot world. Because I'm sure they're going to film a documentary out of all that. I know Russell Cord was a part of that. Ken Gearhard was a part of that. Doug Highcheck from the Monster Quest was a part of that. And I mean, I think that would have been a big deal to be a part of that. Really would have been. But sadly, I had to be responsible and think about that, because I got all these other events that I scheduled throughout the year. And yeah, not to brag, but I usually don't like to say this, but some of these events I'm getting paid to go do. They're covering my lodging. They're doing all that. But
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, because I can't afford to do it on my own. I mean, because if I get invited to go there, I need my lodging covered, and I do require a fee, because it takes a lot out of me for traveling and gas and food and all that good stuff.
Yeah, anybody else does that gets paid for it.
Not right. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people that, trust me, there's people in the Bigfoot community that look down on that. They have no clue. They haven't done it themselves. I mean, I've been to several events, traveled on several events, not getting paid, and had to cover my own crap. It puts a hurting on you. It puts you in the hole when you get back home. If you can afford to get back home. So
if you're part of the attraction, you should get paid for it. That's
a
job,
basically. I mean, there was a time where things weren't costing as much. Everything's gone up now. So, and even what the fee that I present, it's a lot cheaper than half of these people that charge. I mean, you got the Expedition Bigfoot guys that charge $2,500 to $3,000 alone. That's on top of, like, I'll give you an example. Ronnie LeBlanc from Expedition Bigfoot. I've been in communication with him because he actually reached out to me through email asking about wanting to be a part of my event. So I was like, well, as far as speakers go, I told him I'm already booked for this year. And then he gave me a rundown on prices on what it would cost for him just to be there without speaking. Which technically what he told me was not bad. I mean, we're talking like $2,500 for, because he's a TV personnel, and he's got a lot of followers. But technically, if you look on Facebook, I got twice as much as followers as he does.
So, what was his name? What was his name? I missed it.
Ronnie LeBlanc. Some people might pronounce it LeBlanc, but I think. But yeah, he's a totally cool dude. But yeah, if I was gonna have him actually come speak, I would have to cover his lodging, which is totally understandable. And then if you include his base fee plus his other travel expenses fee, he's about almost $5,000. So, Russell Accord, he lives out there in the Pacific Northwest, out there in Washington or Oregon, one of those states. Now, he doesn't fly. He drives his truck, the same truck that you see on the show that he drives around. He drives all the way there because he goes to all the Tennessee events. He's always invited back to back, year after year. And surprisingly, he drives his own vehicle. I said, man, you're putting a lot of miles on your vehicle. So, but
must have a Toyota.
I don't know what, I can't remember what it might be. It might be. It might be like a Toyota Tundra or one of those.
That's what I got.
Yeah. So
I look at all these guys. I skim these shows a lot. I don't like dive deep into a lot of them.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you the Expedition Bigfoot show. Yeah, every Bigfoot show is going to have their haters. I mean, like
Yeah,
Finding Bigfoot had a good deal of it, but now Expedition, they got a big following, but yet they also have a lot of haters, and everybody's going to nitpick at something. But
yeah. I know.
yeah, in my honest opinion about the show, I think it's like Finding Bigfoot, but it's an upgrade. It's like to me, I look at it as Finding Bigfoot 2.0. Yeah, they use more technology. If they pick up on activity, yeah, you get to hear more vocalization. You see more. I mean, yeah, they're producing more, which makes it more entertaining. I mean, that's the whole point of these shows. I mean, they got to get viewers. They got to keep the viewers going. Um, so that's one thing a lot of people got to keep in mind. These shows are for entertainment as well as
Yeah,
educational purposes.
I think for some
Now
folks, think it's going to be it's like watching a zoo
show,
documentary or something. I don't know. Like
yeah, like oh, okay, we're going to see a Bigfoot. No, that may not be the case.
it can
Uh,
only be so. It can only be so good,
right.
or they can only have so much. The content can only be so much.
One thing I always found fascinating. Expedition Bigfoot does it. Finding Bigfoot did it. Every time it goes through a commercial, you get that suspense tone and music going. Like, we're going to see something when the commercials are done. All right, stay watching.
I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but we agreed that we love the town halls. That seemed to
Oh
be
yeah,
the linchpin of these shows. Like,
yeah.
gosh,
I was doing that's basically what I was doing before I started doing the annual Virginia Bigfoot conference. I was doing library lectures. I was getting people to come out to my library lectures, but when I advertised them, I was like, if you have a story to tell, I want to, please present it. I've actually had people come out and share stories, which was awesome. It worked out great, but they also came to hear me do a presentation. Um, so yeah, I started doing that. That was working great, and then all of a sudden, I had this idea. I was like, you know what? Let's do something bigger. Um, my events, I've been doing them for 5 years. They are growing. They're not as big as the Tennessee events because I'm not funded like they are, but the word of mouth is growing. The advertising is getting out there, and like the first couple of events, I've had people come to my events, and I'm not going to mention who they are, but I'll tell you how much they've made. I mean, my third annual event, it was a decent turnout. I will say that it was decent. But as far as the people that shop the vendors, um, I don't know. I don't know what the other vendors make, but I can tell you one particular vendor made over $4,000 at my event.
really?
So yeah, I mean, selling Bigfoot merchandise. Yeah, the Bigfoot stuff, everything that the artwork on their items was all custom. Because the family member that was part of that business was the artist of everything they put on their product. It was different, and yeah, they made over $4,000.
How many
So
people like the expected turnout to those, like the people wise, the customers?
well, if you look at the attendees for those who come in for the presentation, and the group of people that like to just mainly shop for the and browse through the vendors, I mean, you're looking at anywhere. I mean, the first few events were anywhere from 400 to 600 people. Looking
Okay.
at the last event, it's grown a lot more. We were around maybe 1,000 or so. Um, yeah, I mean, my events are growing.
I'm just wondering
We're
what the like the local grassroots turnout for that would be. That's not a bad. I mean,
I mean,
four,
compared
five
to
hundred thousand.
yeah, I mean, compared to these, the events, all these Bigfoot conventions that happen in Tennessee, yeah, I mean, they get 20, 30,000 people. I mean, that's what the numbers are throwing out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they
mean,
got a lot of
Pigeon
people
Forge
that come.
would be there anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, these are like 2 day events and stuff too. So I mean, they're doing a roundup total number of, I don't know if they're counting the same people twice or what, but they get numbers. So,
Well, they've got the
um,
Taps guy, that one in the Smokies you're talking about.
uh, tap. Oh, okay.
You
Um,
know, Ghost Hunters, the bald guy,
yeah,
the main character. He's like the showcase.
That's right. Yeah, they do have him coming up. Yeah, they got a couple of the one I'm going to there in September. Yeah, they got
You
oh
got the
man, I'm
little
having
Aborigines from American Horror Story, and that's kind of weird.
yeah. There's a couple of the actors I know that I'm somewhat familiar
Expedition
with.
Bigfoot. Ronnie
Yeah, they
LeBlanc's
got
gonna be there.
Ronnie and Dr. Maria.
Hmm.
I don't know. They haven't announced it yet, but there's a chance they may end up announcing Russell Accord. I'm almost anticipating that. I haven't looked on the page recently, so
It's
um,
only like 4 hours from me. I should go. I could go see some bears, see some Bigfoot.
yeah,
Be
there
kind
you
of
go.
cool.
Yeah, because I see for me, I'm driving down there, so that's like about 5.5, 6 hour drive for me, I believe. So
We've done Knoxville in a day more than once, and Gatlinburg's only about 25 more minutes away.
okay. Now they are selling tickets to the event. I don't know the tickets. They got single day tickets and 2 day tickets, and from what I've seen, the tickets are very reasonable on what they're offering. Children, not 12 and under, but 11 and under are free. So yeah, but
That's not horrible.
huh?
$100 for a
Yeah.
VIP.
How
Go
much?
meet $100 for a VIP.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Very cool.
I mean, if it's in a big old center. I mean, if it's worth
Yeah.
meeting those guys, it's not that.
Well, they what's pretty cool about the whole thing, they have all these guest celebrity actors that are going to be there. Now they're just going to be there just to be there, and then because I know I asked Justin for the longest time, I was the only speaker that was listed. I said, just curious. I said, are you going to announce any other speakers? He said, yeah, I got people lined up, and I've actually tried to get a friend of mine from Kentucky set up there, but I don't know. He never replied to me. I guess he already had people in mind. So. Um, But yeah, that's when he started announcing the Expedition Bigfoot people that are going to be speaking there. I said, that made me feel so cool because like I'm on a panel with them. I mean, like speaking at a convention with them. I mean, it's humbling but exciting at the same time. It's like that. How cool is that? So
Yeah, it's like a rising tide raises all boats kind of situation there.
yeah, so so
I should
yeah,
watch more
I'm.
Expedition Bigfoot. I got so fed up with finding Bigfoot that I never really got into the expedition one.
I will tell you. I mean, if you're anything like me, you'll actually once you start watching it, I think you'll find it somewhat refreshing. I
Yeah.
mean, I find it very informative. It does seem to be very informative, and they do produce some stuff. They show stuff. There was some thermal drone footage they shown on there, which I thought was kind of fascinating, but yet kind of odd at the same time. The way they showed it.
Mhm.
I mean,
Do they do
um,
the town halls?
do they what?
Do the town halls, Expedition Bigfoot?
That's one thing I have not seen on there. No, they do not do that. They
It's
do go
weird
meet up
seeing a
with
fat guy
eyewitness.
talking about.
What's that?
It's always funny to see some fat guy talking about he saw it in his chicken coop, something like
Yeah.
that.
Now, yeah, they do meet up with different people that have eyewitnesses and stuff. They
Okay. That's
like, yeah, it's mainly Bryce. While the team is out in the woods doing their thing, Bryce, the main, I don't know what you want to call him, like the base camp leader or whatever, the guy that they all report back to. Yeah, he'll go meet up with different eyewitnesses, and then he'll gather their information and location. And sometimes he'll go out by himself into some of these places and do his own investigation, which is cool. But most of the time, he stays at the base camp and looking at the computers and all, analyzing everything that's being submitted back to him. Like, for example, if Russell's like, Russell, hey, Bryce, I'm sending you this file, whatever, this footage or this audio clip or whatever, and let you take a look. So, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty
I've seen
cool.
them do that part before. The part I have watched
Mm.
that when they upload it and they analyze it.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that part.
Yeah, now the new season is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's coming out March 20th. So is when the new season starts on Travel Channel. So
That may be
yeah,
my drift off to sleep with melatonin show tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
There's
So
the old Joe Rogan did a show a long time ago called Joe Rogan Questions Everything,
yeah,
and it's aliens, it's weather manipulation, it's just a bunch of conspiracy. It's Joe Rogan, but it's a good little
yeah,
docu series, and it's bootlegged kind of on YouTube. And I watch it. It's got a Bigfoot episode.
yeah. There's actually a partial clipping of his show that I actually uploaded to my YouTube channel. It's probably listed under the my shorts or my short videos, but yeah, there was a brief part of his show where he was talking about Bigfoot and how he's basically saying, in his opinion, Bigfoot always did exist. Yeah, he was talking about Gigantopithecus.
Oh, you're talking
How
about from his actual? Yeah, I've seen it here. It's from his podcast talking about Gigantopithecus and stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I mean, for him to say that, I mean, to bring and make that point, but I mean, because in part of my presentations that I do bring up Gigantopithecus and explain who he was, how big he was, and this and that, and I get into some other details and stuff and facts about that. And
Just
I
from a
use
jawbone.
that. What's that?
It was just from a jawbone too. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's amazing what people like. I'm always looking into different remains and artifacts and stuff that people are archaeologists and different scientists are discovering, and how they could put these pieces of a puzzle together and tell you what this was, who this was, what kind of person this was. Um, it's almost like they could
Interesting.
find the gene to what, or not the gene, but they can almost basically tell you this the sex or the anatomy of what this skeleton was. So,
I just
but
sent you the link to the full series just for your reference.
oh, okay, yeah, it just now popped up. Yeah,
Yep.
so
Fun fact:
okay,
I'm having a guy from episode 6 on my podcast in April.
okay,
His name is Paul Smith. He's a remote viewer.
ah, nice.
I am pumped up from the floor up about it, and I think I'm going to screw it up. Like, how you doing, Mr. Smith? I can have you.
Now you got to look at it like this. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've had some, I guess you could say well-known people. I mean,
Mhm. Definitely.
just talk. I mean, they're as laid back as me and you are. I mean,
Yeah.
they're very easygoing people. I tell you, a good one to have on there is, if you ever get a chance, Ken Gearhard. So,
Oh yeah.
uh,
I was telling you about what he said.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I may revisit it once I get a little clout. I'm not
yeah.
going to hold it against him. He
Well,
in his defense, he probably hears so much shit from people at my level that he just like, hey
right.
man, whatever. I don't really blame
Yeah.
him for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Are you in a lot of Bigfoot groups and stuff on Facebook?
Yeah, some of them. Well, yeah, most of them, honestly, about 50.
Okay,
About
that's a
50.
good number. Yeah, just start sharing your YouTube channel and your content through on them, and you'll start getting some numbers on there.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
this: I'm in enough groups that when I start doing that, Facebook puts me in jail for about 2 days.
Oh shoot,
I go over their limit.
yeah, I've done that in the past too, but like sometimes like I get away with it so many days, and then I'll give it a break. Like it's like
Well,
I
I think
haven't
it
even
is that.
posted.
Yeah, they don't want you posting it every 15 seconds.
Yeah,
So if you and I figured out if you go down to the bottom of your groups and post there, take the time to scroll to the top and post there, then scroll it like fucks up their algorithm where you're posting something every 50. Because I had it to where I could post every 15 seconds, and it got me. So now I gotta switch them up.
yeah. If you don't mind, when we get off here, I'll add you to a couple of groups I'm in. I'll add you
Yeah,
to
go
my
ahead.
main group, but there's a couple groups. There's a couple other groups I'm in. They're pretty. Their numbers are pretty big. So yeah,
The amount of groups that just let you post anything is insane.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now
the guy.
they're. Oh, go ahead. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Now, the guy named
Oh,
Anthony Instant Player, he runs Unidentified S4. He told me that he just joined a bunch of groups, and that's how he gets his numbers. So I just found all the groups he's in, joined those. Boom, here I am.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll cheat on the test. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you got to do though. So yeah, but yeah, I tell you what, Bob. Yeah, the time's climbing up there for me right now, but I do have to
Good. You can get off here if you
go
want to.
Yeah, I got to take care of some business. So
I don't blame you. I gotta go to work tomorrow anyway, even though the tornadoes are coming through and I get off early. But
oh my, yeah, we're supposed to get some rain. I heard tomorrow. Today was beautiful up here. I mean, for up this way, being this time of year, we were up in the low to mid 70s today. So
oh really? Yeah, we get off at lunch tomorrow because of the storms, which is cool.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, you work outside or?
No, I just work on a military base, so they don't want to.
Oh, I got you.
Body bags.
Right.
They don't want people on the interstate whenever something's coming through.
Well, if you need sandbags, the company I work for, we provide sandbags. If you want.
I'm not filling them. I don't pay for that.
Oh my, man! Well, I'll tell you what. I really enjoyed being on here with you. So it's been fun. Great. Yeah, absolutely. If you ever want to get on, I mean, I got stuff I can talk about. If you ever want to need another fill-in guest or anything, so.
All right, I'll hop on your show sometime too. Just if you need like cancellation filler, just ask me because I'm usually free at night.
Okay. Yeah, I may actually end up skipping this Friday altogether because unfortunately I had a notification on my thing here that said I got 10%. It doesn't renew till the 22nd. Oh, so yeah, because my next scheduled guest is on the 24th, so that actually works out. But so
all right.
Yeah. The only reason. Yeah, the only reason it got added, I should have had plenty of time because I was actually had this hooked up to my laptop where I was actually uploading or downloading some software, and that ate up a good chunk of what I had for the month. So
yeah, amazing amount that you don't even think about.
Yeah, and I wasn't even on there long. Maybe an hour, and usually an hour on podcast would only use up 1.5 gigabytes. Well, so. But yeah, it end up using up like almost 3 gigabytes of downloading software. So yeah, people don't realize that's a lot of gigabytes for. Especially, I could upgrade mine. I only do 15 gigabytes a month right now. I'm only trying to because I just started doing this. So I mean, I'm seeing how those 15 work out. So far, they've been doing pretty good. I mean, if I need more, I can.
Good at managing it.
What's that?
They get good at managing it. Threading the needle.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just like usually on my podcast, I try to keep them about an hour and a half. Although there's a couple that have gone up to 2 hours, which is fine. I don't have no problem doing that. But the only reason I try not to go too long on my podcast is just because you figure the viewers. A lot of viewers. I've learned the viewers. If you go too far on something, their attention span, like, I'll maybe watch this later or something like that, So, I know that's how I am on this podcast. So I kind of, pick up on how other people are, Well, they don't always have the time to watch or listen to it. Some people end up watching it, or listening to it when they're at work or, if they have time at work or something. Because some companies you can put your earbuds in and listen to whatever, Yeah. There's people that dedicate their time to listen to the podcast. So, yeah, you got your diehard podcast fans out there, that's for sure.
That's all I listen to all day. That and some music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do them.
Yeah, for sure. So.
All right. I'll just thank everybody for listening, and maybe we can talk in the back room in the live. And